Hello everyone! In this video I will making this gown. Let me first introduce myself. I am Marjolein Turin, designer of Somnia Romantica. Here's a small impression of what I make. A kind disclaimer, I'm a small independent fashion designer living from my fashion designs, which are all made as a one of a kind of very limited pieces. Please do not copy my designs. Seeing it as inspiration for your own ideas is absolutely okay though. I'd love to hear about your projects in the comments. Note, this is a peek over my shoulder, not a tutorial. I'm self-taught, which means I have no education in sewing, tailoring or fashion, nor do I master official techniques. There are great artists here on YouTube who can learn you those skills. I work in an unconventional and often intuitive way. Of course, the world of sewing is huge and diverse, and I hope that showing my way of working is a nice addition to this. Let's start. We will start with the sketch. This is the sketch. Left is the front, right is the back. It was something that just popped in my head when I was laying in bed. Well, I decided to make it. Here you have the fabric, very nice, thick, structured fabric, and my own outfit matches with it. As I wanted a circle wide skirt, I did this following, as you can see on the pictures, just put it on hold and look at what I wrote. Basically 2 half circles and sew them together. Here I am drawing the circle. I made a spare out for the waist, and from there I just make the radius of the skirt length and cut it. After those 2 half circles I also cut these sleeves. I forgot to put the camera on, and this overskirt in lace. Now onto the bodice. Here I'm drawing the lace cutout at the shoulder. You can see it in this picture, and you can again pause it to read what the idea was. So here I'm cutting the bodice, taking the lace cutout at the shoulder in consideration. This is the shoulder piece, very small piece as the rest will be lace. This is the side of the back, which will have a small amount of lace. And this is the front, which will also have a part of the lace cut out. And of course an open front, so the whole mid section will not be used of the pattern. This is the seam at the bust. And here I'm drawing a big puff sleeve. I want a good big sleeve for this one. Whee! Ta-da! Here I start sewing. I started with the hem of the skirt because that's a long end. Here you can see me guiding the fabric, so it will lay the right way when it goes through the serger. Speeding it up again. Ta-li-la-li-la. And here you can see some earring action. I somehow decided to leave it in. But here we go back to the sewing. These are the seams of the bodice. For the bust, here is the mini shoulder part. Both sides. Sip of tea. Then this is the mid back. And here I'm sewing the side of the back to the mid back. These are all curved lines, so it's important to make sure they get adjusted the right way. Here I'm sewing the lace shoulder part onto the bodice. Yay, it worked. And then of course we do the same on the other side. So the lace part is a continuous part as intended, and it goes over 3 parts of the bodice, all from the back over the shoulder to the front. Here I'm putting the sleeves through the serger and the overskirt. I think this is the overskirt. Also a very long part. Hi! Etc. etc. And yeah, this goes on for a while. Now onto the puff sleeves. The big sleeve and the small part of lace that I'm cutting right here, that will go around the biceps, the upper arm. For both sleeves, of course, I'm cutting it, and then I define the mid. Always define the mid. That's one of my few things that I always mark in sleeves, skirts, bodices, etc. And an arrow which points up to make clear which is the upper part. Here I'm pleating the sleeve onto the lace part. A lot of fumbling. Ta-da! One happy sleeve. This is a very nice hair clip, I had to show it. Sleeve, and here I'm decorating the sleeve with trim. The same trim that goes around the waistband. I'll place a link to the shop of the hair clip in the description. You have such cute designs. I met them at the Wave Gothic Treff in Leipzig. So there you go, back and forth and back and forth. Fui and fouet. Then for the upper skirt, the lace skirt, I wish to make a nice pleating of broad lace on the hem, but it has to be tapered at the front. And I do it this way. Again, you can pause the illustration to see the explanation. Here I make the V, I jam it through the serger. I find something very funny, probably something my love says to me. Then I sew the serger seam flat before I pleat it onto the lace skirt. And here I'm pleating. This is the inside of the skirt. I pleat this row of, I pleat this lace trim onto the inside, and then the other lace will go on the outside, and that way you won't see the serger seam anymore. And it will be beautiful from the inside and the outside. Here I do this more often. That's when I'm pleating sort of against the stream, if you can say so. Then I push with my fingers to make sure it won't flip back. And here going the other way around because I'm over the mid half. Then I don't have to push it anymore. This is from where I have to taper it again, so I'm measuring that and cutting it again the same way as I did on the other side. There you go. I jammed it through the serger. I'm sewing it flat again, and then I can finish this lace, the adjusting of this lace trim. Adjusting? Huh. The affirming. Oh yeah. Here I'm sewing the smaller lace on the outside. The lace fabric is not vintage, but all lace trims are, by the way. That's a sewing machine. Here I am, yes, here I am sewing the bodice onto the skirt, the upper skirt, so I can see how it fits. And it's too saggy. It was supposed to fall in the waist more, and the front does not do what I want, so I was just a bit unhappy and just walked off. Later I corrected it, and then I put the adjusted version through the serger to sew the waist onto the skirt. The bodice onto the skirt. There you go. Then you will see a puddle, but this is what happens. You can pause it again. So I'm sewing the waistband onto the bodice. I made a waistband of the lovely trim again. I place it onto another lace trim, and I start with the mid back to make sure it's nice and symmetric at the back, and from there I work through the front. And I always use the added seams in the bodice as a sort of reference. So I make sure at the same point of the side seam you have the same pattern of the lace trim on the right side as on the left side, if that makes sense. So here I'm getting to the end, the front seam. I'm making sure when I sew the next rows that they will be even with the part I already sew. There's a big chance of this getting attached unevenly. Here I'm tired of this part. It took really a long time. I got it in between. I'm doing the skirt, the upper part of the skirt. I'm placing some vintage lace at the inside to make it look nice, and it's also very soft. And then after that I placed it lace trim on the outside. This has no stretch, which is nice because then I can decide on exactly which fit I want the skirt to have. Again, I use the trim, the pattern in the trim as a reference to make sure both the front and the back have the right amount of trim. Before this I did the zipper. I hate zippers, but in this case a zipper is very convenient. So this is what I'm doing at the front. This is what I'm doing here. I'm affirming trim first on the outside side, and then after that I flip it, and then it will be on the inside, and all seams will be invisible, sewn in, and everything looks neat. Also a bit of a hassle, but totally worth it. Okay, I put it on the dress form again, and this time I was satisfied. I also did the skirt. I gave the skirt an extra eyelet and hook to make it more firm. I was happy with the pleating at the front. Come to think of it, I have no footage of me pleating the front. Well, it was just a whole bunch of pleats and the sleeves too. Really, but how? I am sure some footage is missing. Here I'm deciding on the clasp at the front. And here I'm trying to decide if some buttons at the shoulders are cute. That's my 70s Rolly kit. I got it for my mom. And I decided no, it was two just buttons sitting there. So I went for satin roses, as you will see at the end of the video. Da-di-la-di-la. On to my desk. Floof. Big ball of fluff on my lap. That bracelet has to go. Well, dark grey threads to match both the clasps and to fall away on the dark background. Looking if it's at the exact same place on the lace trim as on the other side. Meanwhile, watching YouTube videos, that's why I'm turning my head all the time. It's not really handy, but it's, well, I love watching videos during work. I'm using all the little holes in these clasps to make them really firm. And then I looked up another video, apparently. You can see by my way of typing maybe that I play the piano. I had many more clasps to go, so I'm not showing you all of that. I also adjusted for happy little satin roses at the shoulders of the piece, which means we are done. This is the piece. This is the overview. Here's the skirt, it's circle white. Here are close-ups, you can just see the little roses at the shoulder and you also see the mid-back. Then the front close-up of the lace around the neckline. A combination suggestion that I made with one of my tops and hoop skirts, and this picture was to show how huge the sleeves are. Well, that's it for today. The next video will be all I made in the second half of 2020. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you wish to see more content like this. You can also drop other questions in the comments. Likes and subscriptions are always much appreciated. They help me grow and make more content. Bye bye.